couple things to keep in mind. We are all emotional eaters. Eating in general is an emotional thing. And I'm going to come back to that. Actually, let's talk about it now. So think about like when you were born, right? Obviously, you don't remember when you were born, but if you have kids or if your listeners have children, we know that like when babies are upset, they have two ways to be comforted, to be soothed. And those two ways are food and touch.
Mm-hmm.
So when a baby is upset, when a baby is dysregulated, it's offered the breast or the bottle, or it's picked up and held by a caretaker, right?
Right.
And so we are brought into this world learning that food is used for soothing purposes.
That's true.
So it's wired into us from the very beginning. And one of the things I often tell my clients is that, if you come home from a hard day at work and you're upset about something that happened at work and you go to your partner and you say, I'm upset, I would really like a hug, right? We would never tell that person, like, it's not okay to ask for a hug when you're upset.
Right.
So why would we tell somebody it's not okay to use food occasionally when you're upset, right?
True. Right. Yeah.
Right. We wouldn't take away touch as a way of soothing
No.
ourselves. We would always offer a hug. We wouldn't judge that. We wouldn't try to get rid of it. But we do that with food. We demonize it.
Mm-hmm.
We demonize it.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
is one of the biggest reasons why binge eating continues to be a problem for people is they demonize it and they don't actually understand the purpose that it's serving, whether it's binge eating or emotional eating. And so I can speak more about, the differences here in a second, but I just want to make sure that like that point really lands
Mm-hmm.
because that's a mindset shift that I think people need to be introduced to very early on.
Getting a new relationship with food, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something that I've actually been applying over the last few years is getting a new relationship with food and kind of questioning my beliefs about food.
Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that 100%. And I often tell, my clients, and this is, 90% of my client population. I'm a private practice clinical psychologist. Um, And I tell them frequently, I say, those beliefs that you have about food and your body, they're not even yours.
That's so
You
true.
they're not even yours. Those are society's beliefs. They're your mother's beliefs, your father's, your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's, your great grandmother's. They've been passed down to us within our genetics and within, society.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I always talk about like, I use the metaphor, the comparison of like those types of beliefs. Like I always treat them like this was a present I never wanted. It's like an ugly Christmas sweater that I never wanted to be gifted in the first place. I have no reason for having it, no purpose for it. It's not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I'm like, give it back, give the
Mm-hmm.
gift back.
Right. Right.
And
Exactly.
buy your own gift essentially. So meaning change your beliefs, right?
Right.
And so it's not that simple, of course, but it is a starting framework. So
You know what somebody said to me one time, and at the time, I thought it was kind of an odd statement, but it's actually kind of helped me. And they said, "Just watch a skinny person eat,"
mm,
and it was in the text of how what their relationship is with food, right? And so I have done that. I have done that, and one of the biggest helps really is my husband because he does take care of himself and he works out and he's got muscle and he's careful, but he's got such a healthy relationship with food. He does indulge at times, but he also eats well and he watches what he eats and how much he eats. And so that's kind of what how I took that statement and I've actually embraced it and it's actually helped me, especially m- more now as I don't have I don't say foods are bad now. If that's a good food, that's a bad food, right?
yes, absolutely. Yes. That's a huge part of it. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge part of it. In my world, we call that legalization of food.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right. And changing the all or bad or all or nothing, bad or good kind of
Right.
thinking mindset
Right.
because it becomes a morality issue. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you eat the quote unquote bad food, then what you're saying to yourself is, I'm a bad person.
Correct. Exactly.
right? And that tanks our self-esteem and it actually leads to more binge eating,
It certainly does.
which
It
is a
certainly does.
vicious cycle,
Yep.
vicious cycle.
That's
So
part of the cycle. Yes.
yes, it is. And so, but yeah, so if you want to speak, I can speak a little bit more about those differences for
Yes,
you, for the listeners. I want them to know there is a difference between binge eating
definitely.
and emotional eating. Um, we don't want to demonize either one, but I do want to kind of share the differences. And so, like, one of the biggest differences is that binge eating episodes are typically more frequent, they're more intense, they're more, quote, like severe.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it
And
like when you get
so,
triggered and you feel the need to sit down and binge? Well, I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish before I start asking questions.
yeah, I can go through a couple pieces here, and so like binge eating usually, well, one, it happens in much larger quantities. So
Oh,
for an
right.
example, like you could come home. Emotional eating might be like I had a bad day at work. I'm gonna have pizza for dinner. Typically, maybe you're a person who eats two pieces, so maybe you ate three pieces instead, right? It's like I ate a little past fullness because I'm just pissed off, I apologize. I kind of curse a little bit, so
Oh, don't
just
worry about it. Trust me.
okay,
No.
okay. So as long as your listeners are cool with that, right? So maybe you eat a little bit extra, right? Because you're looking for some sort of like soothing of your nervous system.
Right.
Binge eating. A binge eater might be at work thinking about the two pizzas they're going to order when they get home from work. Binges
Oh.
are also planned a lot of times. Emotional eating is often not planned. And so
Okay.
the food preoccupation with a binge tends to almost last like all day. And so the person looks forward to it and it's a lot more pizza. So maybe it's a whole pizza, pizza and a half, two pizzas. And the amount of food is not just larger, but it's also typically eaten quickly and with
Gulping
a
it down.
complete, yeah, gulping it down. And there's also this sense of losing control.
Oh, see, I didn't have that. I definitely had the emotional. Definitely had the
Yes.
emotional.
Yeah, and we're all emotional eaters, right? And so
Yeah.
if you think about like we use food to comfort people. So when someone passes away, what do? We bring them food.
We celebrate with food as well.
And we celebrate with food. We have a wedding, we have food. We have holidays, we have food. Food is innately emotional. And that's what I was talking about at the beginning, right, of our
Yeah.
recording. Is like it's hardwired into us and it's not a bad thing. It
It
becomes a problem if it's your only tool in the toolbox.
right, right, right. It's actually refreshing to hear that. For me
Yeah.
to
Yes.
know that because that would there's a lot of shame that I carried for many years about that. For me to be even talking about this is a lot. And it doesn't bother me at all at this point to talk about it. Oh God, there was just so much deep shame. And my weight fluctuated through the years, and it affected my health. And, I would put myself on a diet and I would lose weight and and it's just a cycle. Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
shame.
It's a very difficult cycle. And, I had probably a maybe somewhat similar journey. And, like I grew up, in Indiana, and as a teen girl, it was like, why are my thighs bigger than everybody else? Right. And so it's like, let's diet, right? Let's
Yep.
start the diet, right. As a teenager. And then it quickly swung into like overeating and binging in college because when you have years of dieting, inevitably it swings into overeating.
Right.
It
Yep.
backfires, right? So then the weight comes on. And then after college, I was like, I'm going to diet again. And then that's when I also stumbled into attuned eating when I went to graduate school. And it all kind of came together. And
Mm,
then I found I found my way hard fought through healing my relationship with food and
mm-hmm.
eating quote unquote like a normal person.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so it's a complicated path though. So it can
Yeah.
take quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah. And stop dieting. That's what I had to
And
do. I just
stop
stop
dieting.
dieting.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
no more
And
diet. It is honestly getting a new relationship with food and understanding food
yes.
and and yeah, knowledge is power. And I talk about that all the time and how helpful that is on my healing journey. And that's part of it is this is, learning about the difference between binge eating and emotional eating. I mean, I didn't even think about that there's two different things. Are
Yes.
they triggered by the same thing? Like, are they come from the same thing? They both come from childhood trauma, but it sounds like they have kind of the same kind of end result, right? It's some kind of way of comforting yourself, right?
Yes, yeah, I would say it's a way that your nervous system is trying to regulate. And I can talk more about that. I would say like emotional eating can come from trauma. Um, it can also come, like you said earlier, from celebration,
Right.
right? So a
Becomes
whole host
habit.
of different emotions. Yeah, binge eating is typically coming from some sort of trauma response,
Mm,
and so I would say that that is a big difference. And I would say also binge eating, like another big difference is like binge eaters typically eat in secret.
right.
You won't
Yeah,
find anybody binging truly in front of somebody else.
that's true. Because again, the
Um,
shame, right?
the
And
shame,
yeah,
yep,
the shame that goes with that.
yes, and the emotional aftermath is
Hmm.
typically followed by disgust, regret,
Yes.
shame, and guilt. And we don't always have that with emotional eating. We might have like a, oh man, I wish I wouldn't have eaten that extra slice of pizza,
Yeah.
like that, kind of sucks. But like, there's none of this like massive upheaval of like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And self loathing that you
Right.
typically see.
Right.
So
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
hopefully
Sorry.
that helps kind of explain the difference as
That's
far
a
as like,
big
it's just
difference.
big difference.